Howdy, my name is Cloudy. Welcome back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't checked out the last video, check it out. And if you like the state in Cloudyville today, you would like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Today, we got a video from the Cosmic Wonder, Avengers Doomsday, Doctor Doom versus the X-Men.
Welcome to the
Bro, I
Cosmic
thought it was
Wonder.
gonna be
As
the
filming
Avengers
for
versus the
Avengers
X-Men.
Doomsday begins,
This
we are
is,
starting to learn a lot
this is the
more
first
about
fight.
the movie. And we've even had some set leak photos recently. We've had a couple of photos show us what seems to be an incursion scene with a lot of craters in the ground, which we're theorizing is most likely debris and destruction from the incursion happening with our Earth 616 universe. Today, however, we're going to be talking about a scene that is going to take place in one universe, the X-Men universe, before the X-Men make their way to our main 616 universe. We already know that all of these teams X-Men make their way going to take place in one universe, the X-Men.
Why is Wong and Cyclops stand together? Is this in a movie or is this like them on set?
Universe before the X-Men make their way to our main 616 universe. We already know that all of these teams and characters that have been announced, including Doctor Doom, are eventually going to all end up in the same place in the same universe. And it makes sense because Marvel Studios in the MCU has been building up incursions. That was one of the big takeaways from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and of course it was a huge takeaway from Loki season 1 and season 2. In fact, one of the key takeaways from Multiverse of Madness was when the perhaps not so smart Mr. Fantastic of that universe, the 838 John Krasinski Mr. Fantastic, one thing he said that was very important was that if a person from one universe goes into another, their presence there destabilizes and confuses that universe. Well, the Marvel's post-credit scene set up Monica Rambeau in another universe, the X-Men universe. And today we have a report about a scene taking place specifically in the X-Men.
I forgot all about this, bro. He hella smart too. He's like he's like, I don't want to say the Tony Stark, but he's the smart, he's the Bruce Banner or the Tony Stark of the group. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, because he's the one who figure out the equations and all that. You know, he solves the problem.
Before some of the X-Men characters come in contact with our characters, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, once they get to our universe, the Wakandans, the Thunderbolts, etc. And they all...
Hey, I remember seeing this movie. Is she also a Captain Marvel as well, bro? Because I remember seeing her. I'm like, bro, it's two of these bitches. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro.
All eventually team up to fight Dr. Doom. But as it turns out, Doom might actually be attacking the X-Men before he gets to the 616 universe. At least that's a possibility given the info that we have just learned about a new scene that they are currently filming right now on set for Avengers Doomsday. According to the insider My Time to Shine Hello, shooting is now underway at a practical set for the X Mansion, aka the Xavier Institute. No set photos have been released for it yet. However,
so Avengers Doom, we're gonna be seeing a lot of X-Men in this movie. Probably that's probably how they gonna introduce the X-Men into, you know what I'm saying, into the, you know what I mean. We probably gonna see it through Doomsday. You know what I'm saying. I wonder how much screen time are the X-Men gonna get in this movie. You know what I mean? Because if they fight the Avengers at some point, I'm thinking they're going to play a pretty big role in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Especially for Dr. Doom if he's trying to get them. You know what I mean? So
I've heard that the sequence being filmed shows the mansion under attack. And I know what most people automatically think about this. How many times does the X Mansion have to get blown up? How many times does Professor X have to die on screen? Well, hopefully the answer to the Professor X question is 0. Hopefully we don't have to see him die again, but it looks like we might have to watch the X Mansion get destroyed one more time. Now, ultimately, everything is going to get destroyed, the entire multiverse, and what we should be left with at the end is just Battleworld, ruled by Doctor Doom. And if what we have been hearing about the plot details for Avengers Doomsday is correct...
Wait, so is it going to be this X-Men that we're going to see on screen? How many different, because you know there's variants, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to know, like, which X-Men are going to be on screen, you know? And then I'm trying to figure out, is Sadie Sink, because if they saying the old cast from X-Men is going to be back, then Sadie Sink is not going to be Jean Grey. At least that's what I'm thinking. So who is Sadie Sink gonna play? You know what I'm saying? Because I still want to know who she gonna play, bro. Everybody saying she gonna play Gwen Stacy, but I just don't see it.
That Doom is going to end up ruling Battleworld at the end of Avengers Doomsday, and Battleworld might actually
Who's
be
that
the
behind
Void. But we'll get to that in a bit. This new report says that the X-Mansion is going to be attacked. So of course the big question is, well, who's attacking the X-Men and why? Now, considering that Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, has already confirmed all of the teams that are going to be in Avengers Doomsday and confirmed the fact that they are teaming up as one big unit to go against Doom, means that none of the teams that Kevin Feige mentioned at CinemaCon, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, obviously, the Wakandans, none of them should be the ones attacking the X-Men, because Kevin Feige did state the original X-Men are going to be a part of this giant team as well. Plus, this is most likely taking place in an alternate universe, the one where the X-Men are from. So if none of these teams are attacking the X-Men and they're in a different universe, Doctor Doom is most likely the person who is attacking them. Plus, this would make sense story-wise. Obviously.
Okay, so we're gonna see a fight between Doom and the X-Men, bro, before we see anything else. So after we see this fight, what's gonna happen next? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it gonna show us what the Avengers are doing on their universe? You know what I'm saying? Because if they saying, like, how is this all gonna lead up? Like, I'm up. Like, are we gonna see him kill Thanos on screen? Like we've been seeing all over Instagram,
And the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and everybody have to end up in the same.
I mean, obviously they're gonna keep some details to themselves, so they don't give us the whole story. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, bro, it seemed like this story is gonna be a lot shorter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a lot shorter than we thought.
Universe in the same place.
Or I know it's a lot of pausing. Or it's just gonna be a lot more action in these Avengers movies, which I'm honestly okay with. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with a lot of fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. That's what it seemed like. That's what route it seemed like they taking, is for there to be a lot more action in these movies.
Somewhere. That's how we get our team up. But Doctor Doom has to be established as the villain very early on in the film.
Who the hell is this right here, bro? I'm talking about the big guy with these arms. Who is that?
Much like they did in Avengers Infinity War with Thanos. So the X-Men being attacked by Doom could almost be an opening scene very similar to the opening scene that we got in Avengers Infinity War. In fact, I think it'll mirror it quite a bit. The whole opening to Avengers Infinity War is done quite brilliantly. Throughout the MCU, Thanos was teased in post-credit scenes, and he even showed up in some movies like Guardians of the Galaxy. But if you didn't read comics, you still didn't really know who he was or how powerful he was. The beginning of Infinity War showed you exactly who the Avengers were up against. Thanos and the children of Thanos just defeated what was left of Asgard, including Thor. Then Thanos fought the Hulk and defeated him with seemingly no problem at all. Then they established that he can wield not only one but two Infinity Stones, which we've known really no one to be able to wield.
Bro, the ups and downs I have with some of these, bro. When I saw Hulk getting handled, bro, I was just like, yeah, Hulk is done, bro. Hulk is done. It's none, bro. Hulk is done. I lost all hope for the Avengers, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was like, yeah, we lost, bro. That's it.
On their own, besides the Celestials showed to us in Guardians of the Galaxy. Then he kills Heimdall, and then he kills Loki. And again, he wiped the floor with the Hulk and Thor, two of the most strongest people in the MCU. Now, Thanos had a little bit of an introduction in the MCU with those post-credit scenes and in the movies that he showed up in. Doom has none of that. We've heard rumors that maybe Doom shows up in the post-credit scene for
why was his eyes glowing like that? Why did he look like this in the movies before? Like, is there a reason, or was it just like a budget problem? Like a budget problem, I mean. You know what I mean? Like, because he realizing the other, and then he just looked weird. You know what I mean? It had to be a budget problem.
Fantastic Four First Steps film, but that's unconfirmed at this point in time. So the beginning of Doomsday probably has to go just as hard as the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. And after all, the film is titled Doomsday. It's all about Doom. If you had to choose a main character for the movie, it would be Robert Downey Jr., whether he's Victor or a variant of Tony Stark. And how could you establish him as an insane threat? Well, you might have him go up against the X-Men and have him defeat them. That could be the scene that Marvel Studios is filming right now, the attack or the battle at the X-Mansion. And in fact, it's kind of easy
to... But if he defeat them, how the fuck are they gonna fight with the Avengers? That's what I'm thinking. It has to be variants. Like they have to be fighting with a different variant group of X-Men or something, bro.
To connect
They
the
have to,
dots
bro.
on how
Yeah.
this could play out story-wise for Avengers Doomsday. If it is in fact Doctor Doom attacking the X-Mansion, we're assuming some people, some X-Men, are going to die. But not all of them.
Not all
Obviously,
of them.
because they
Okay.
have to
Okay.
team up with the Avengers. But Doom comes, he attacks, and then he leaves. We've heard he's going to get his own team. Perhaps he was trying to recruit somebody and the X-Men stood in the way. Maybe he wanted Magneto, but Magneto refused and this caused a fight. And maybe the X-Men had his
Grammarly does.
but what this really is going to do is show us who Doom really is, show us his powers. That way, when the X-Men eventually do meet the Avengers, one, we keep going back to that Avengers versus X-Men scene, we could still get that because the X-Men might think that the Avengers are with Doom. Then once they realize they're not with Doom and both parties realize that the other people they're fighting aren't actually the bad guys, then they can talk about the overall threat of Doom, which they basically did in Infinity War when talking about Thanos. Heimdall sent Bruce Banner to the Sanctum on Earth, and he said Thanos was coming. Then, Bruce Banner explained what happened, Wong and Doctor Strange explained what the Infinity Stones are, and gave us the stakes. If Thanos gets all of the Infinity Stones, he could do whatever he wants. The same could happen with
Bro, if Doctor Doom get the Infinity Stones, nigga, the Avengers is done.
X-Men go over what happened and
And
how
and, and 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 from what I seen, I think it was from the Loki show. They got hella Infinity Stones and they just got them around like fucking put them in boxes like Jolly Ranchers and shit, bro.
them in their universe and what he is now after, which is most likely, based on what we've heard, Loki and the TVA. According to Alex Perez from thecosmiccircus.com, everything leads to the TVA. Doom has a team and he's going to be trying to get to Loki, and the Avengers are going to try and beat him there. From what we've heard, there's reportedly going to be a huge, massive fight at the TVA, a huge multiversal fight involving a lot of variants. And I think most of us are expecting Avengers Doomsday to end with the multiverse being destroyed and Battleworld being created by Doctor Doom. Well, like I mentioned, and like I mentioned right after we saw Deadpool and Wolverine, I think that Battleworld is actually going to be the Void, because Cassandra Nova said she's going to destroy every single universe in the entire multiverse until all that's left is the Void. And much like He Who Remains had his castle in the Void, I think we'll get Doom's castle there, and everything else will consist of...
Bro, Secret Wars, bro, is going to be nothing but straight hands, bro. Secret Wars is going to be nothing but straight. If it's nothing but Battleworld, that means it's just going to be an all-out fight. You know what I'm saying? It's going to look like World War II out there, bro. It's Secret Wars is probably going to be the most majestic movie we've seen, bro. Just pure action, bro. No talking, nothing, bro. You're just fighting for 2-3 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? That would be hard. I ain't gonna
a bunch
lie.
of different fragments of other universes that are left over. So that could be how it ends, and how it begins might start off with a crazy X-Men scene where Doom fights the X-Men. That would certainly be a great way to kick the movie off, establishing how strong Doom is, especially if he's going up against characters like Magneto, Professor X, Jean Grey, Cyclops, etc. With no introduction to Doom so far, I kind of feel like they need to start off this.
Oh, yeah. So this will be far. So they're gonna start the movie off, giving us a little introduction to Doctor Doom. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? Showing us how he looked like Tony and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna get to him trying to, get to the X-Men and stuff. And then they're gonna, fight. It's gonna be a good movie, bro. It's gonna be a good movie, bro. I'm for sure tuning in. You tuning in?